Today I will mainly present a project of Fab Textiles. It's a personal project developed inside Fab Lab Barcelona. I was not planning to present the structure and the activities of Fab Lab Barcelona, but through the project of textiles, explain a little bit how different initiatives can emerge in very multidisciplinary contexts and educational backgrounds. The Fab Textiles project started at 2012. It's an experimentation, and it is based on education mainly to the students of fashion about digital technologies and applications of the wearable tech. And me as an architect, I cannot say that I'm passionate about fashion. There are two reasons why I started these activities. One is that I believe that we should reestablish a way that we interact with space. We should try to innovate and talk about more about ephemeral architecture, talk about human and space interaction, make one-to-one installations, one human machine or human architecture installation. These pictures are from Chile, the open city of Chile in '79, where they had programs based on radical pedagogies, unconventional pedagogies, and also the Bauhaus School of the Triadish Ballet, where they combine architecture and fashion. So this is one of the main reasons, and the other reason is that I am inside Fab Lab Barcelona, which is situated in IAAC, Institute of Advanced Architecture of Catalonia. The institute is a young school, only master program. It's mainly known in the global scene. It has students from all over the world. And it is cutting edge and we could say a little bit non-conventional thinking about new methods in construction, robots in architecture, interaction. Inside the school there is the Fab Lab. The Fab Lab is very powerful entity inside the school. They are the same actually. The Fab Lab started in 2007, and it forms part of the global network of Fab Labs that is growing and expanding from 11 years now from MIT. The Fab Lab Barcelona is the coordinator of the global course that is taught by teleconference system through MIT, which is called Fab Academy. Nowadays, we have more than 500 Fab Labs. I think it's a model of expansion. Everybody is talking about Fab Labs this weekend, so I will not enter more into what is a Fab Lab. But the Fab Lab Barcelona is one of the leading laboratories, and mainly because the level of education there can train people, to capacitate people in order to be able to open laboratories in their countries all over the world. And of course, we have the possibility to interchange files, so I can make one digital file in our Fab Lab and then send it to Chile or send it to Africa to be fabricated. So we are mainly focusing on, we are also focusing on distributed production, where you don't import-export products, but you send digital files. It's called, we are changing the paradigm of the product in, trash out, to data in, data out. And here I started with this initiative of the Fab Textile. So this is Greek. I don't think that you understand anything written here, which is very good for me because I can read it. Fab Textiles was initiated as an open workshops for the public, having a social, trying to make a social impact for people that they don't have the knowledge and the tools of digital fabrication. And it has 3 points that it focuses mainly. One is innovation in tools. So we invent new tools, maybe Arduino-based, controlled. We make new materials. We investigate in smart materials, in new materials, and we invent new methods. And the other sector is to focus on what is the craftsman, what is the artisans, the old techniques, the traditional techniques, and try to find the traditional techniques that they are being extinguished in order to see if we can, with digital technologies, we can take them back and implement and transform them. And the third one is to create a community, because we can say that in digital fabrication we have many users that they are from architecture, other users that they are from industrial design, engineering, or art. But in the fashion sector, there is a very low percentage of usage, which also makes another link, we could say, about the percentage of how many women are in this technological context. And also, the other very important thing is that in Barcelona we have this very big group of Inditex, which is very good for the schools of fashion, because all the students, when they finish their studies, they can directly be absorbed by the big industry, so they are made trained to be machines for Inditex, which makes them disposable. So in the Fab Lab we started with open workshops. Every time we try to answer questions that us by themselves we are interested in. So we started like making from 2D patterns to 3D unfolding patterns, making origami hats. We had this workshop today and yesterday about parametric origami hats using a grasshopper. Or we can 3D print some shoes out of a student that comes with some sketches and he doesn't really domain the digital tool, so we help him be introduced and out of sketches make the 3D modeling. Or maybe we can invent a bag that when you open it, it lights up some LEDs in order to be able to see what is inside. And this all, it's coherent because we can talk about the fashion industry, and we can say that the fashion industry was the first one in the Industrial Revolution that acquired and moved on with new machines because of demand. So fashion has always been very, very close to new technologies and very innovative in a way. But the fact that we have an overdose and the fact that we have an overproduction made us have the phenomenon of fast fashion, where the moment that the clothes, they come out from the catwalk, they are out of fashion already. So, and also this technological implementation and innovation is not only about how we make things or who makes the things, and if we are the maker and the consumer, the producer and the consumer, but also it has an interest in really getting into the industry and changing the way we produce. because new technologies came in the first and the second industrial revolution to change the way we produce, and then now we can reflect on what we've done, and we can really have dry dyeing methods of fabrics instead of using tons of water for putting color on fabrics. This is a picture in Bangkok of the contamination out of dyeing, painting the fabrics in the industry. Of course, nowadays we are talking about new technologies that they do not use water, but compressed carbon dioxide, I think. These are the main reasons that the project started, and also the fact that fashion in the beginning was something that was not bespoke. It was custom-made tailoring, and then after we ended up having all the sizes, but this doesn't mean that this, with the new technologies, we cannot optimize this and we can make custom clothing. So we make custom mannequins that they are open source. Everybody can download them on the different platforms. And this actually is interesting because the mannequin is, I don't know if anybody has any experience, but mannequins are very, very expensive. And here we share these files, and we work on this custom-made different platform, let's say, for the students of fashion, to be able to design on something that is completely different, to see what they can take out of it. And also, we have implemented the project in Latin America. In Latin America, if we say that in Europe there is some knowledge about the maker movement and about the DIY and the customization in Latin America, we can lower this down a lot more. So in fashion, it's like speaking in Chinese to the people. No, really. So there are many projects, but really? Okay. So there are many projects that they are trying to reinvent in a way the way we produce, but I will stay and explain three. One is one project where we try to make our own textile. So we use natural fibers, and we made a custom tool, Arduino-based rolling spray, adapted on a KUKA 6-axis robot. And we are spraying the fibers and the adhesive on a rotating mannequin. So at the same time we are fabricating the textile, we are fabricating the cloth. So it's, and here in this case, we are interested more in the design of the tool, the process, and the material, rather than the final product. We have a rotating body on the table, and we are spraying all around many times the natural fibers with the glue. This is a very experimental project, but it also responds to the question, why should we not try to reestablish the status of the current industry? But also inside the Fab Lab, we have the possibility, this is some bags that they are completely open source, and they have the concept of one digital file, 1,000 different products, because you are using material that is locally made. So if you make a bag in Bangkok and if you make a bag in China, you would have a different textile, locally made textile. So you have different, one file, different products. And here we have a research project. Inside the Fab Lab, we promote independent projects, and we promote the local scene of makers. So we work in the wearable tech. We work with a project that is called The Machine to Be Another. And we have, this project is about augmented reality. There are two users that they are swapping the point of view. So one can see in the eyes of the other. And we have made, with the collective of the machine to be another, many experiments with people with disabilities, many experiments about post-process treatments, like treatment of people that they have been in an accident. And we developed with them suits that use a stereoscopic camera and moves with motors. It's a 3D printed open source file that is connected with augmented reality glasses. So when one of the users moves his hand, the other that wears the suit, which is the performer, he has the camera that gives the signal to the person that is doing the experiment. And this is a project that is is open source. It's a project that works on embodiment and empathy. It's a project that doesn't have any, let's say, business model behind. We are trying to make the business model now, but we have many people that they are replicating the machine in their laboratories, so anyone can have a setup for making these experiments, and we are going and training people to learn how to do this kind of experiments that they are mainly talking about applied anthropology and applied sociology. But in the same time, in the same context as we are, we can have projects like I showed that they are very experimental, but also we can have projects that they are based in business models, and they are coming from startups. So I started this project which is called First Vision. First Vision also has a camera and a transmission system without delay, high definition, giving the possibility for, it's a t-shirt of sports. So you have the possibility to see from the eyes of view of the player. We have a high definition, zero delay system transmitting. We provide another camera to the transmission companies of FIFA, EuroLeague, and currently, and they came to us in order to do the integration and the hardware development of the t-shirt. With this project, we are working 1 year now, and we can say that it's completely different working for a startup that has to really have income in order to make technological advances that they are very demanding, because this is a system that doesn't exist. And it's very different when you are working in an experimental educational context, when you have an open source technology and you develop it while you have the users giving you feedback. In this case, with First Vision, we had two inversions, one from Telefonica and one from Intel Make It Wearable competition. And we have done three different iterations of the prototype it's not a prototype, it's a product, but it is not massively produced. We have produced in the Fab Lab 20 iterations of the product, and now First Vision is playing with EuroLeague. They are using the system. They are providing another camera to the users. Yes, okay. And also about performative arts. We had these residencies for the last 2 years, which is inside the network called the European Art, Science and Technology Network. So we had the possibility also to host some residencies and invite some artists that they work with wearable tech. So the conclusion would be that maybe in the 20s or in the 50s or in the 60s, okay, the futurists and the dreamers and the ones that they wrote about cyberspace, they talked about the wearable tech, or they made custom artisan craftsman prosthetics. And maybe these dreams are the same dreams that we are talking about today. And maybe wearable tech is, for some people, it's about gadgets, or it's about the watch that can tell you about your pulse or about how many calories you burn, or maybe wearable tech can talk about having low-cost prosthetics, open source, distributed to people, or having additive cyborg having an addition in order to be able to see colors. The only difference between the 20s and now is that technology is open and accessible nowadays. Mucho tiempo, me he pasado 3 juegos.